Hey there, welcome back. I'm here to help you relax tonight. Before we slip into the shadows, like and subscribe to uncover more stories like this. Let me know in the comments where are you listening from and what time is it there. It really brings our community together. Now, dim the lights for that cozy vibe and stick around till the end. Let's dive into the unknown. I pulled into the county morgue parking lot 15 minutes early for my shift, watching the sun disappear behind the hills west of Riverside. The building sat at the edge of town, a squat concrete structure that most people drove past without noticing. That was by design. Nobody wanted to think about what happened inside. My name is Claire Brennan, and I've worked here for 4 years. As a single mother of 2, I couldn't afford to be picky about employment. The county morgue paid nearly double what hospital orderly positions offered, which meant my daughter Sophie and son Lucas could eat 3 meals a day and I could keep the lights on. There was a reason for the exceptional pay, of course, but that wasn't something they mentioned in the job posting. A white sedan pulled into the lot beside me, parking crooked across the yellow line. The new hire. Dr. Ellis had mentioned yesterday that I'd be training someone tonight. The car door opened and a young man stepped out, fumbling with a coffee cup and his phone simultaneously. He looked fresh out of community college, probably thinking this was just another stepping stone toward medical school. I got out of my car and grabbed my bag from the passenger seat. The new guy walked toward me with an easy smile, one hand extended. "Ryan Mitchell," he said. "You must be Claire." I shook his hand briefly. "Just Claire. Let's get inside before it gets dark." The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead as I unlocked the employee entrance. Dr. Ellis wouldn't arrive until later to review cases and sign paperwork, which gave me time to cover the basics with Ryan. And by basics, I meant the rules. The very important rules that kept us breathing. "So," Ryan said, following me through the prep area, "Dr. Ellis mentioned you've been here a while." 4 years, I answered, setting my bag in my locker. "Which means I've outlasted about 9 other attendants who didn't take this job seriously." Ryan laughed, clearly thinking I was joking. I wasn't. The morgue's interior was exactly what people imagined. Cold, sterile. The walls painted that particular shade of institutional green that seemed designed to drain hope. Banks of refrigerated drawers lined one wall, each with a small window and a number. The examination tables sat in the center under surgical lights. Everything smelled of disinfectant and something else underneath. Something organic and wrong. "All right," I said, watching his face. "Before we get to intake procedures, there are some facility-specific rules you need to know." Ryan nodded, still smiling, still convinced this was a normal job. Rule 1: never work alone. Even if your partner calls in sick, you call me or another attendant before starting your shift solo. "Makes sense," Ryan said, adjusting his name tag. "Safety in numbers." "This isn't about workplace safety," I said firmly. 3 years ago, a guy named Patrick decided to cover an overnight shift by himself. Security cameras showed him working, normally until 2:17 a.m., when he looked toward drawer 7, then walked into the cold storage room. He never came out. Ryan's smile faded slightly. "What do you mean? Like he quit and left?" I shook my head. "The door locked from the inside. All his belongings were still in his locker. His car remained in the parking lot. He vanished." "That's weird, but probably some kind of personal emergency," Ryan suggested. I could already tell this would be difficult. Some people refused to believe until they saw for themselves, and sometimes by then it was too late. "Let me show you the facility layout," I said, changing tactics. I'd introduce the rules gradually throughout the shift as situations came up. I walked Ryan through the different areas. The intake bay where bodies arrived from hospitals, accident scenes, and homes. the examination rooms where Dr. Ellis performed autopsies, the cold storage with its rows of refrigerated drawers, the prep area where we cleaned and prepared bodies for viewers, the administrative office where paperwork lived and died. Ryan asked good questions about procedures, chain of custody, proper handling techniques. He seemed smart enough, picking things up quickly, but I noticed he kept glancing at the drawers like he expected something to happen. When we reached the prep area, I handed him a clipboard. This is the intake log. Every body gets documented: name, time of arrival, condition, personal effects, attending physician, no exceptions. Standard stuff, Ryan said, scanning the form. What's this column for? He pointed to a section labeled Anomalies. Sometimes bodies arrive with unusual characteristics, I explained carefully. Anything out of the ordinary gets noted there. Like what? Before I could answer, a scratching sound came from the cold storage area. Fingernails on metal, slow and deliberate. Ryan turned toward the sound. What's that? I grabbed his arm. Rule 5. Never investigate sounds from drawer 7 between midnight and 5:00 a.m. He pulled away from my grasp. Someone might be stuck in there. It could be a mistake, someone who wasn't actually dead. Drawer 7 is empty, I said flatly. I checked it an hour ago. There's nothing inside. Then, what's making that noise? The scratching grew louder, more insistent. Then it stopped suddenly, replaced by a soft tapping. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 more knocks. Rule 2, I said, my voice steady despite the chill creeping down my spine. Never answer knocking from inside the drawers, no matter what you hear. Ryan stared at the cold storage area. That's insane. What if it's not a person? I cut him off. Trust me on this. The knocking continued for another 30 seconds, then stopped as abruptly as it had begun. The silence that followed felt heavy, pressing against my ears. What the hell was that? Ryan asked, his voice smaller than before. That, I said, is why we get paid so well. I led him back to the prep area, away from the cold. Storage. Ryan kept looking over his shoulder, the casual confidence from earlier completely gone. Look, I said gently, I know this seems strange, but the rules exist for a reason. Follow them exactly and you'll be fine. And if I don't... I thought about Patrick, about the others before him, about the security footage that showed things that shouldn't exist. Then you won't finish your shift. For the next few hours, I taught Ryan the practical aspects of the job. How to properly transfer bodies from gurneys to examination tables. How to tag personal effects and maintain chain of custody. How to fill out the endless paperwork that accompanied each case. He was a quick learner when he focused, but I could tell the incident with drawer 7 had shaken him. Around 9 p.m., Dr. Ellis arrived. He was a thin man in his 60s with silver hair and wire-rimmed glasses. He'd been the county medical examiner for 20 years, and in that time he'd learned not to ask certain questions. "Claire," he greeted me with a nod. "This must be Ryan." "Yes, sir," Ryan said, straightening up. "Nice to meet you, Dr. Ellis." "Welcome aboard." Dr. Ellis set his briefcase on the desk. "I trust Claire is explaining our protocols?" "Some of them," I said. "We haven't covered all the rules yet." Dr. Ellis gave me a knowing look. Make sure he understands about the toe tags. After the doctor retreated to his office, Ryan turned to me. "What about toe tags?" I walked to the supply cabinet and pulled out the box of tags. Standard cardboard with string attached, used for decades. Rule 3. When tagging bodies, check the flexibility of the toes first. If they bend past 90 degrees, use a red tag instead of white. Ryan picked up one of the tags, examining it. "Why does toe flexibility matter?" "Bodies in rigor mortis shouldn't bend past 90 degrees, I explained. If they do, Something else is happening. Something the white tags won't hold. What does that mean? It means whatever came in wearing that body isn't fully settled yet. The red tags have symbols on them. They help contain things. Ryan laughed nervously. You're messing with me, right? This is some kind of hazing for new employees. I'd heard that before. Mark at the convenience store had said the same thing before he died. Patrick here at the morgue had dismissed the rules as superstition. They all learned eventually, but I preferred my trainees to learn without dying. I'm not messing with you, I said quietly. Tomorrow night, Dr. Ellis will show you the security footage from Patrick's shift. Then you'll understand. A call came through on the radio. Dispatch was sending a body from Riverside Hospital. Cardiac arrest, 72-year-old male. Family wanted an autopsy to confirm cause of death. This is a standard case, I told Ryan. Good practice for intake procedures. We prepped the receiving bay, setting up a clean gurney and pulling the necessary forms. 20 minutes later, the hospital. Transport arrived. 2 paramedics wheeled in a body bag on a stretcher. Evening, Claire, one of them said. Rick, I'd worked with him before. Got a Mr. Harold Brennan for you. No relation. Not that I know of, I replied. Brennan was common enough in this county. Paperwork? Rick handed me the transfer documents. Everything looked standard. I signed in the appropriate places and they left quickly. Nobody liked lingering at the morgue. All right, Ryan, let's get him processed. We transferred the body bag to our gurney and wheeled it to an examination room. I unzipped the bag carefully, revealing an elderly man with a peaceful expression. Death in his sleep, probably. The easiest way to go. First thing, I instructed. Visual examination for any signs of trauma or unusual marks. Ryan leaned in, studying the body. Nothing obvious, some age spots, surgical scar on the chest, probably bypass. Good. Now, check identification against the paperwork. Name, age, physical description. He compared the toe tag from the hospital with the transfer documents. Harold Brennan, 72 years old, 5'10", approximately 180 pounds. Matches. Now, check the toes. Ryan lifted the sheet covering the feet. He pressed gently on the big toe, testing flexibility. It moved normally, stopping at the natural limit of the joint. Seems normal to me. Then he gets a white tag. Fill it out completely. Name, date, time of arrival, your initials, mine. As Ryan wrote carefully on the tag, I noticed his hand was steadier than before. Good. Routine helped with the fear. We finished processing Mr. Brennan and moved him to a drawer, not drawer 7. Never drawer 7. Even when it appeared empty. The rest of the night was quiet. Too quiet. I preferred busy shifts. When there was work to do, less time to think about the sounds that came from places that should be silent. Less time to remember the rules and why they existed. Around 2 a.m., Ryan yawned. Is it always this slow? Sometimes, I said. Other nights we get 3 or 4 bodies and barely have time to process them properly. He stretched, walking toward the break room. I'm going to grab coffee. Want some? Sure. Black, 2 sugars. While Ryan was gone, I did my rounds, checked that all the drawers were properly sealed, verified the temperature logs, made sure the examination rooms were clean and ready. Everything normal. Everything following protocol. When I passed drawer 7, I stopped. The temperature gauge read normal, but the metal felt warm to the touch. Not hot, just wrong. Like skin instead of steel. I pulled my hand back quickly. Claire? Ryan's voice came from behind me. I turned, taking the coffee he offered. Thanks. Something wrong with that drawer? No, I lied, just checking the seal. But Ryan had noticed my reaction. That's drawer 7, isn't it? The one you mentioned earlier. Yes? What's really in there? I sipped my coffee, considering how much to tell him. Right now? Probably nothing. But between midnight and 5 a.m., something else occupies that space, something that doesn't belong here. That's impossible. I thought so too when I started, then I saw it for myself. Ryan set his coffee down. Saw what? Before I could answer, the lights flickered. Once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession. My stomach dropped. Rule 6. If the lights flicker 3 times, go to the break room immediately and wait 7 minutes before coming out. Why 7 minutes? Because that's how long it takes for them to pass through. Them? Move, now. I grabbed Ryan's arm and pulled him toward the break room. He resisted for a second, then followed when the lights flickered again. We made it inside and I shut the door, turning the lock. The break room was small. A table with 4 chairs, a refrigerator, a microwave, and a coffee maker. No windows. 1 door. I checked my watch. 2:17 a.m. What's happening? Ryan whispered. Something is crossing through the facility. As long as we stay in here and keep quiet, we'll be fine. Crossing through from where? I didn't answer. How do you explain that the morgue sat on a thin spot between the world of the living and the world of the dead? That bodies sometimes arrived with passengers. That the rules existed to keep those passengers from spreading. A sound came from outside. Footsteps, but wrong. Too many legs. The rhythm was off, like someone trying to mimic human walking without quite understanding the mechanics. Ryan's eyes went wide. What is that? Quiet, I mouthed. The footsteps passed by the break room door. Pause. They came back. Stopped right outside. The door handle turned slowly. Thank God I'd locked it. Ryan looked at me, his face pale. I put a finger to my lips, shaking my head. Whatever was outside couldn't get in as long as we followed the rules. As long as we stayed silent. As long as we waited the full 7 minutes. The handle turned again, more insistently. Then a voice came through the door. My voice. Ryan, it's okay. You can come out now. The danger has passed. I watched Ryan's face as he processed this. Watched him realize that I was sitting right beside him, and the thing outside was using my voice. Claire? The voice called. Ryan, I don't feel well. I need help. Please open the door. Ryan's hand moved toward the door. I grabbed his wrist, hard enough to bruise. He looked at me, and I shook my head violently. Claire's hurt, my voice continued from outside. She fell and hit her head. I need you to open the door so I can help her, Ryan, please. She's bleeding. The desperation in that fake voice was perfect. If I hadn't been sitting right there, I might have believed it myself. The footsteps moved away. Different rhythm now. Less human, more honest about what it was. The sound faded down the corridor toward the cold storage area. I checked my watch. 6 minutes and 30 seconds since we'd entered the break room. Still too early. At exactly 7 minutes, the lights flickered once more. I stood up, unlocked the door, and carefully looked out. The corridor was empty. Everything appeared normal, but the air felt different. Colder, like opening a freezer. What the hell was that? Ryan asked, his voice shaking. Something that shouldn't exist, I said, but does anyway. Come on. We returned to the main area. Everything looked undisturbed, but I checked anyway. Intake bay, clear. Examination rooms, clear. Administrative office, clear. Cold storage. I hesitated before checking, then made myself look through each drawer window. Drawers 1 through 6, empty. Drawer 8 through 12, occupied with tonight's cases. Drawer 7, I pressed my face close to the small window. Dark inside, darker than the others. But empty, always empty even when it wasn't. Is it gone? Ryan stood several feet behind me. For now. He ran his hands through his hair. I need to understand what's happening here. You can't just throw out rules about drawers and lights and expect me to follow them without explanation. Sit down, I said, gesturing to the desk in the administrative office. I'll tell you what I know. Ryan sat, and I took the chair across from him. This morgue is old, built in 1947 on land that used to be a cemetery. They moved the bodies, or tried to, but you can't move everything. Some things stay attached to the ground itself. You're talking about ghosts. I'm talking about boundaries. The morgue exists at the edge of two spaces, life and death. Most of the time that boundary holds. Bodies come in, we process them, they go to funeral homes, normal, but sometimes the boundary thins, things slip through. Things that used to be human or never were. Ryan was quiet for a moment. And the rules? The rules keep us safe. They keep those things from fully crossing over. As long as we follow protocol, the boundary stays mostly intact. What happens if we break the rules? Patrick found out, I said quietly. So did others before him. The things that cross through, they're hungry for life, for warmth, for everything they lost or never had. If you give them an opening, they'll take it. Ryan looked toward the cold storage area. And drawer 7? That's the weakest point. The place where the boundary is thinnest. Between midnight and 5 a.m., it's basically an open door. We keep it empty because anything that went in there might not come out the same. This is insane. Yes, I agreed, but it's real. And now you know why the pay is so good. We sat in silence for a few minutes. I could see Ryan processing everything, trying to reconcile what he'd experienced with what he'd believed about the world. Finally, he spoke. How do you deal with this every night? I have kids at home. Sophie's 9, Lucas is 7. They need me. So, I follow the rules, do my job, and go home in the morning. It's that simple. Simple, Ryan repeated, a hint of hysteria in his laugh. Nothing about this is simple. No, I admitted. But it's manageable, as long as you respect the rules. The radio crackled. Dispatch with another incoming body. Vehicle accident on Route 7, single fatality. Police were requesting an autopsy. Back to work, I said, standing up. This job doesn't stop for existential crises. Ryan stood too, still shaky but steadier than before. Okay, what do I need to do? Follow my lead, do exactly what I say, and remember the rules. Never work alone. Don't answer knocking from inside drawers. Check toe flexibility. Stay in the break room when lights flicker 3 times. Don't investigate drawer 7 between midnight and 5 a.m. He recited them like a prayer. Good, you're learning. The transport arrived 30 minutes later. A young woman, maybe 25, brought in from the accident scene. The paramedics looked grim as they wheeled her in. Claire, one of them nodded. Jessica Chen, 24. Rollover on Route 7. Police want a full autopsy. I signed the paperwork and they left quickly. Like always, nobody wanted to linger. Ryan and I transferred the body to an examination room. I unzipped the bag, revealing significant trauma. This wouldn't be pleasant, but it was part of the job. Visual examination first, I reminded Ryan. He leaned in, professional despite everything. Multiple contusions, possible fractures, extensive trauma to the left side. Check her ID against the paperwork. He verified the information, then paused. Claire, her toes. I moved closer. Jessica Chen's toes bent backward at the joints, far past 90 degrees. Impossible for a body in rigor mortis. Impossible for any natural death. Red tag, I said quietly. Now. Ryan retrieved a red tag from the supply cabinet. I noticed his hands trembling as he filled it out. The red tags were different from the white ones. Symbols marked each corner. old symbols that predated modern morgue procedures by centuries. "What do these mean?" Ryan asked, tracing one of the markings. "They're binding symbols. They keep whatever's in there from getting out." We attached the red tag carefully, making sure the string was tight. Then we transferred the body to drawer 4, which had reinforced locks. Not as strong as the containment in drawer 7, but sufficient for short-term holding. "Dr. Ellis will handle the autopsy," I said. "We don't touch red tag cases alone." "What happens during the autopsy?" "Sometimes nothing. Sometimes the thing wearing the body tries to leave when you make the first incision. That's why Dr. Ellis uses special procedures." Ryan stared at the closed drawer. "How many of these have you seen?" "Red tags? Maybe a dozen in 4 years. They're not common, but they happen often enough that we have protocols." The rest of the shift passed without incident. We processed 2 more cases, both routine white tags. Ryan worked mechanically, following procedures but clearly shaken by the night's events. When 6 a.m. arrived and daylight began filtering through the high windows, I saw him visibly relax. "Day shift arrives in 30 minutes, I said. "We'll do the handoff, then you're free to go." "Free to go," Ryan repeated, like this is a normal job I can just walk away from. "You can walk away," I said. "Nobody will stop you. But the pay is good, and now you know why. Plus, you've seen the truth. You can't unsee it." Dr. Ellis emerged from his office, looking tired. "Any issues tonight?" "1 red tag," I reported. "Jessica Chen, from the Route 7 accident, she's in drawer 4. His expression darkened. "I'll handle it this morning." "Anything else?" "Standard crossing around 2:17 a.m. We followed protocol." "Good." He turned to Ryan. "How are you holding up?" "I'm not sure, sir." "Nobody is, their first night, but you followed the rules and survived. That's more than some manage." Dr. Ellis paused. "Claire's one of my best attendants. Listen to her, follow the protocols, and you'll be fine." After Dr. Ellis retreated to prepare for the autopsy, Ryan turned to me. "Does it get easier?" "Yes and no. You stop being surprised by the strange things, but you never stop being afraid. Fear is what keeps you careful." We finished the shift handoff with the day team, 2 older attendants who'd been working here longer than I had. They nodded at Ryan with sympathy. Everyone remembered their first night. In the parking lot, the morning sun felt like a blessing. Normal light for a normal world, even though I knew better now. "Same time tomorrow?" Ryan asked, standing by his car. "You're coming back." He thought for a moment. "I need the money. And like you said, I can't unsee what I've seen. Might as well get paid for it." "Good. Tomorrow I'll teach you the rest of the rules." "There are more?" "Always more. But you did well tonight. You listened, you followed instructions, and you survived. That's what matters." Ryan nodded slowly. "See you tomorrow, Claire." I watched him drive away, then got into my own car. The drive home took 15 minutes through quiet streets. Mrs. Davis from next door had stayed overnight with Sophie and Lucas, as she did whenever I worked nights. When I walked through the door, my kids were eating breakfast. Sophie looked up from her cereal. "Mom, how was work?" "Fine, honey, just the usual." Lucas jumped up to hug me. "Did you see any dead people?" "Lucas," Sophie scolded. "You can't ask Mom that." I hugged my son. "It's okay, and yes, that's part of my job, but it's not scary. I help them." Mrs. Davis gathered her things. They were perfect angels as always. Sophie helped Lucas with his homework. "Thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you." After she left, I made myself coffee and sat with my kids. Normal morning routine, normal family. They had no idea what their mother faced every night at work, and I intended to keep it that way for as long as possible. Eventually, I'd have to tell them the truth. Maybe when Sophie was older, maybe never. For now, they could live in a world where dead bodies were just bodies, where morgues were just buildings, where rules were just rules. But I knew better. And now Ryan did too. Tomorrow night I'd teach him about the elevator, about why we never used it between 1 and 4 a.m., about the man in the hood who sometimes appeared in the basement, and why we gave him coffee even though he never spoke. Tomorrow night, if he came back, if he decided the pay was worth the fear. I finished my coffee and headed to bed. 3 hours of sleep before the kids got home from school. 3 hours to rest before doing it all again. As I closed my eyes, I thought about the rules, about Patrick who broke them, about all the attendants before me who'd learned the hard way. The rules kept us alive. The rules kept the boundary intact. The rules mattered more than anything else. And tomorrow, I'd make sure Ryan understood that completely. 1 week later, Ryan had shown up for 6 shifts in a row, which was more than most new hires managed. He'd seen 3 red tag cases, 2 crossings, and 1 incident where drawer 7 opened by itself at 3:45 a.m. He was learning. Tonight started quiet. Too quiet. The same feeling I'd had before, when the silence pressed against my ears and made my skin prickle. "Something's wrong," I said, checking the intake log for the 3rd time. Ryan looked up from restocking supplies. "How can you tell?" 4 years of experience. When it's this quiet, something's building up. Building up to what? Before I could answer, every light in the facility flickered. Not the pattern from last week, not 3 times. The lights stuttered continuously like a strobe, casting everything in freeze-frame snapshots. "That's not Rule 6, Ryan said, moving toward me instinctively. "No, this is new." The temperature dropped suddenly. My breath came out in visible clouds. The heating system was running, I could hear it, but the cold came from somewhere else. Then every drawer in the cold storage area opened simultaneously. All 12 drawers slid out smoothly, revealing their contents. 5 bodies from tonight's cases. 7 empty spaces that shouldn't be opening at all. "Claire?" Ryan's voice was barely a whisper. "Stay behind me. Don't speak to anything. Don't answer any questions." From the empty drawers, something began to emerge. Not bodies, not exactly. Shapes that suggested human form but moved wrong, like smoke that had forgotten how to disperse. The 5 actual bodies sat up on their drawers. "That's not possible," Ryan breathed. "They're dead. Their bodies are dead, but something else is using them now." The shapes from the empty drawers took more solid form. 7 figures, all wearing the faces of people I knew. Patrick, the attendant who'd vanished. Maria, who'd quit after 2 nights. Others I didn't recognize but knew had worked here before me. The 5 bodies climbed down from their drawers with jerky movements. They turned to face us, eyes open but seeing nothing. "Claire Brennan," one of the shapes spoke with Patrick's voice. "You've been here too long. You've seen too much." "I follow the rules," I said firmly. "You can't touch me." "The rules are breaking," another shape said, this one wearing Maria's face. "The boundary is weakening. Soon we'll cross permanently." Ryan grabbed my arm. "What do we do?" "We hold the line, that's the job." But I wasn't sure how. This was beyond the normal procedures, beyond the standard rules. Whatever was happening tonight was bigger than anything in my 4 years of experience. Then I heard it. A door opening from the basement level. Slow footsteps on the stairs. Heavy boots on concrete. The shapes turned toward the sound, and I felt them hesitate. A tall figure appeared at the doorway to the cold storage area. He wore a dark hood that shadowed his face. In one hand, he carried a paper coffee cup, steam rising from the lid, despite the cold. "William," I said, relief washing through me. He nodded once, then looked at the shapes and the animated bodies. "This is not your time," he said quietly. "The boundary holds." "It weakens," Patrick's shape insisted. "We feel it crumbling." "It holds," William repeated. He raised his free hand, and symbols began to glow throughout the room, on the walls, the floor, the ceiling. Markings that had always been there but invisible until now. While guardians stand watch, it holds. The shapes began to fade, their borrowed faces losing definition. The 5 bodies slumped back onto their drawers, truly dead again. "The boundary strengthens at dawn," William continued. "Until then, return to your side. Wait, the time is not yet." "Not yet," the shapes whispered as they dissipated. "But soon, we grow stronger with each crossing." Within moments, all 12 drawers stood empty or occupied by only their proper bodies. The temperature returned to normal. The lights stopped flickering. William turned to face us. I'd been working here for 4 years and had never seen his face clearly. The hood always shadowed it, turning his features into suggestions rather than facts. "The boundary weakens," he said. "More will try to cross. You must strengthen the protocols." "How?" I asked. "Dr. Ellis knows. He has the old texts, the binding rituals that built this place." William set his coffee cup on a nearby table, untouched as always. "Tell him it's time to reinforce the foundation." "Will it hold?" Ryan asked, finding his voice. William's hood turned toward him. "That depends on whether your kind remembers why these places exist, why certain lands must have guardians, why some boundaries cannot be crossed without consequence." "We'll remember," I promised. "Good." William moved toward the stairs leading back to the basement. "Lock drawer 7 tonight. Use the old chains. What tries to cross next will be stronger." He disappeared down the stairs and I heard the basement door close with a hollow boom. Ryan and I stood in silence for a long moment. "Who is he?" Ryan finally asked. "I don't know exactly, but he's been here longer than the building, probably longer than the cemetery that came before. He protects the boundary from his side, just like we protect it from ours." "From his side? You mean he's not alive, not like us, but not like them either?" I gestured toward where the shapes had been. "William is something else, something that chose to help." I walked to the supply cabinet and pulled out a set of heavy chains I'd seen but never used. They looked ancient, iron links covered in symbols similar to those on the red tags. "Help me with drawer 7. Together we wrapped the chains around the drawer, sealing it completely. The metal felt warm under my hands, like it was alive. "Will this be enough?" Ryan asked. "For tonight. Tomorrow Dr. Ellis will perform the reinforcement rituals. After that, hopefully the boundary will strengthen again." Finished securing drawer 7 and returned to our normal duties. But nothing felt normal anymore. The shape's words echoed in my mind. Not yet, but soon. The rest of the shift passed without incident. When Dr. Ellis arrived at 5 a.m., I told him everything that had happened. His face grew grim. "I was afraid of this," he said quietly. "The boundary has been weakening for years. I'd hoped it would hold longer." William mentioned old texts, reinforcement rituals. Dr. Ellis nodded. "My predecessor left detailed instructions. I've been preparing, just in case. It looks like that time has come. What do you need from us?" "Tonight, before your shift, I'll perform the first ritual. It will strengthen the foundations. But going forward, we'll need to expand the protocols. More rules, stricter adherence." "We're ready," I said. Ryan nodded beside me. "Good, because what happened tonight was just a probe. They're testing our defenses. The real attempt will come later." "When?" "Soon, maybe weeks, maybe months, but it's coming." After the day shift took over, Ryan and I walked to our cars together. "This is bigger than just following rules to stay alive," Ryan said. "Yes, we're guarding a doorway, keeping things separate that need to stay separate. And if we fail?" I thought about the shapes, about their words. Then, what happened tonight becomes permanent. They cross over freely. The boundary dissolves, and I don't want to think about what comes after that. Ryan was quiet for a moment. "I'm in. Whatever it takes, I'll help hold the line. Even though it's dangerous, especially because it's dangerous. If this boundary fails, my family, everyone in town, they're all at risk. I can't walk away from that." I smiled. Ryan had come a long way from the cocky kid who'd shown up a week ago. "You're going to make a good guardian." Guardian? That's what we are, not just morgue attendants. We guard the boundary between life and death. It's an old tradition, older than this building, older than the cemetery before it. Someone has to stand watch. And William? Other guardians on the other side? Exactly. The boundary has defenders on both sides. That's how it's supposed to work. We stood in the morning sunlight, two people who now understood the true nature of their job. Not just processing bodies and filling out paperwork. Something more important. Something that mattered. "See you tonight," Ryan said. "Tonight, and remember, lock my door before midnight. Don't answer voices that sound familiar. Check toe flexibility. Never investigate drawer 7. He recited the rules with perfect precision. "I've got it." I watched him drive away, feeling better about his chances. He was learning. He was taking it seriously. He would survive. But as I drove home to my kids, I couldn't shake the memory of those shapes, their promise that they would return, their certainty that the boundary would eventually fail. Maybe it would. Maybe all boundaries failed. Eventually. But not tonight. Not on my watch. Sophie and Lucas were waiting when I got home. Normal kids with normal concerns about school and friends and what to have for breakfast. I hugged them tight, grateful for the ordinary. For life that didn't know about death's hungry ghosts. For innocence that didn't require rules to survive. "Mom, you're squishing me," Lucas complained. I loosened my grip but didn't let go. "Sorry, just missed you guys." "We missed you too," Sophie said. "Mrs. Davis let us stay up an extra hour." "Don't tell her I know that." They giggled and ran off to get ready for school. I watched them go, thinking about boundaries, about the thin line between the world they knew and the one I guarded them from. That was the job. That was why the rules mattered. Not just to keep Ryan and me alive, but to protect everyone else. To maintain the separation between life and death, between the living and what came after. I would do that. For as long as I could, following every rule, teaching every new hire, holding the line, because someone had to. Because the boundary only held as long as guardians were willing to defend it. Because the alternative was unthinkable. As I headed to bed for my 3 hours of sleep, I thought about tonight's shift. Dr. Ellis would perform his rituals. The boundary would strengthen, and we would continue our watch. The rules kept us alive. The rules kept the boundary intact. The rules mattered more than anything else. And I would make sure every person who worked at that morgue understood that completely. Because our job wasn't just to process the dead, it was to keep them from coming back. And that's how it ended, or so we assume for now. If this tale kept you on edge, like and share it with a friend who dares to listen, then subscribe for more eerie nights like this one. Thanks for unwinding with me. Sleep tight if you can, and remember, follow the rules. Always.